With the arrival of Storm Bert, we will keep you updated on everything you need to know over the weekend as well. So stay tuned. Now, if you like a little bit of art, then this is going to be right up your street. In fact, it's not just a little bit of art, it's some wonderful, wonderful art. And I'm delighted to say that in the studio with me is Newquay artist Naomi Jenkin, who has just won a very prestigious art prize. Firstly, congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Naomi, before we get into the awards and all things of that, tell us a little bit about the kind of artwork that you do.
So most of my artwork centres around animals. I'm a massive animal fan, loved them ever since I was a little kid, whether it's dogs, cats or tigers and elephants.
Fantastic.
And so my art is very realistic and detailed, and I love to capture personality and sort of tell a story through my art.
This is hard to say. I suppose it's probably your parents that recognised that you were exceptionally talented in recreating whatever you're looking at and creating it into this beautiful bit of art. What sort of age were you when they said to you, do you know, you're pretty good at this?
To be honest, I've always drawn, and my dad was an artist as well.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I grew up in a very artistic household. But yeah, I remember ever since I was in primary school in sort of year 1 and 2, I remember my teachers sort of putting my artwork up on the walls because they thought it would be good. So I was lucky to have, great teachers and family and stuff that encouraged me right from a really young age.
So when did you start taking it on a more professional level then, your artwork?
So I turned professional 6.5 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. To say that you're realistic, it doesn't do you justice at all. I'm going to try and describe this. It's difficult when we just painting words, painting pictures of words.
Yeah.
But I'll give it to you. What that picture that you've won the award for, which we will talk about in more detail in a second, just describe it for people listening, because it is just stunning. Yeah. So,
to describe the picture, I feel like I should give a little bit of background about the event that I entered it into and what it's about. And it's an event called Sketch for Survival, and the whole purpose of the event is to highlight the need to protect our planet's wildlife and ecosystems. And so this was the first time I'd actually entered this event. It happens every year, and I really wanted to create a piece that just really hit straight to the heart. And chimpanzees, for me, whenever you kind of look into their eyes, you kind of see almost like a reflection of yourselves.
Yeah.
We're so closely related to them in DNA, and so I think it's hard not to kind of feel such a strong connection to them when we look into their eyes. And so I felt like it took me a long time to actually come up with the idea for the piece in my mind, but I saw this photo taken by a photographer called Corinne Aman, and when I saw it, I just thought, yes, that's the photo that I want to base my drawing off and want to create this artwork around, because it just so perfectly captured the feeling that I wanted to convey in the piece. And so to describe the actual artwork, it's a mother chimpanzee, and you don't actually see much of her other than her protective arm around her infant. Yeah. And it's the infant that you see gazing straight into the viewer's eyes, and it's just the look in this infant's eyes that just completely captivated me, and I just knew I had to create a piece of art of that. So yeah,
it just blew me away. It's one of those things. I've seen you holding that picture on social media, so I had sort of had a preview to it myself, but it is just utterly gorgeous. And I hope this isn't an insult, really, because I keep saying it looks more like a photo than a painting, because it's so perfect, it's so gorgeous. How do you get that technique to that level?
Yeah, actually, when I drew this one, I tried to sort of get less bogged down in the details than I usually do.
Yeah.
And sort of go all out on the emotion. But yeah, it's just it's quite a long process of just building up lots and lots of layers and getting the details more and more fine and minute, I suppose.
Yeah.
I work in pastels, and so they come in sort of chunky sticks, but also pastel pencils, so you can get very fine details and a lot of control with them. So yeah, it's a lot of observation and tweaking and just making sure you get it just right.
How long did it take to complete?
This piece I sort of worked on over a number of days, and I sort of like to step back from a piece after a little while and just have a bit of space from it, and then come back to it and make sure that I'm happy with it at the end. So yeah, sort of work on it on and off over a period of time.
When does that cut-off point come? Because I imagine that once you've finished, or you've finished a version of it, is there a temptation to keep going back and just doing little bits here and there?
There is. Yeah, and I've definitely learnt to be a bit more disciplined with knowing when to stop, because sometimes you can go too far.
Yeah.
Particularly with the eyes. And I think it is just kind of literally putting it away where you can't see it for a few days, because you start to obsess over tiny little things. And then when you come back to it with a fresh perspective, you sort of see it with new eyes, and you're like, okay, yeah, that's what I wanted. You know? Sometimes you can get too close to it.
I can imagine that, actually. So with this, you've mentioned the competition, what the competition was about, and you've won it. So congratulations again.
Thank you.
How did it feel to have won?
I was absolutely shell-shocked, to be honest.
Oh.
I mean, when I entered it, my sole aim was just to actually get into the exhibition. So they had over 1,000 artists enter this year.
Yeah.
And the standard of art that was entered was huge, like really high. They had some of the best wildlife artists in the country enter into it this year, and they have international artists enter as well. So it's quite a fierce competition.
Yeah.
And I found out that I was through to the final 100, which meant that I was through to the exhibition.
Fantastic.
Which I was absolutely, ecstatic about, and I was like, amazing, job done, goal reached, brilliant. And then I got an email saying a few weeks later saying you've actually won the entire thing. And I just couldn't believe it.
So what happens next?
So they had a award ceremony last week at the Royal Geographical Society.
Yep.
And then the piece was auctioned on Sunday to raise money for the charity.
Yep.
So it raised £650 for the charity.
Fantastic.
Which was great. Yeah. And yeah, so it's been in an exhibition up in Edinburgh and then down in London. And now it's gone off to its new home to the person who bought it.
How does that feel, knowing that your creation is sitting in somebody's home somewhere? Yeah,
I love it, and I love the fact that it's contributed to a really great cause as well. As a wildlife artist, I feel like it's really important to give back to the animals that inspire it.
Yeah.
So that's a really nice feeling to know that it's helped to protect those animals, because they're chimpanzees are really endangered. So yeah, to know that the piece is really going to be really treasured by the person who has bought it, and also that the piece has helped to protect species like chimpanzees is really great.
It's fantastic, and your work is fantastic. So what's next for you, Naomi? What's your next project or plan?
I'm actually also a finalist in the British Art Prize.
Oh my goodness, you're on fire!
Yeah, so so that's going into an exhibition at the start of December in London.
Fantastic.
So yeah, it's been quite a whirlwind couple of months, to be honest.
Multi-award winning year. Well, fingers crossed.
Give it a while, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Gosh.
no, they announced the winners of that yesterday, so I didn't win that one. But yeah, just to be in the finals for that as well was quite amazing. So
now you've brought in another beautiful bit of art with you as well. Tell me about that. It's the most gorgeous dog I think I've ever seen. So
yeah, so it's a Labradoodle called Louis.
Yep.
And it's a big portrait of him enjoying a walk in the park, and he's lying down in the long grass.
Oh, it's
lovely blue sky and trees behind him.
Yeah,
big smile on his face.
It's lovely. So what's the plan for Louis?
So Louis is waiting to be collected by my client.
Wow.
So they commissioned him. Louis absolutely means the world to my client and his family. He's got young kids as well, and Louis is just their playmate, their companion.
Yeah.
And yeah, my client saw my pet portraits online and just knew they had to get one of their pet. So
it's incredible.
Yeah.
So brilliant year. You're doing really, really well. I mean, your pictures are beautiful. I can totally understand why this is happening. Any idea where 2025 might take you? What your plans might be for next year?
I have a few plans. I'm currently working on a range of greetings cards based on my dog portraits. So that's my main thing for next year, launching those.
Yeah.
And continuing to produce lots of lovely pet portraits of people and some wildlife art. So yeah.
Well, massive congratulations, Naomi. It's been lovely to meet you.
Thank you.
Well. And if people want to find out more about you and your artwork, what's the best way that they can do that?
My website is naomijenkinart.com.
Yep.
And I'm also on social media at Naomi Jenkin Art.
Fantastic. Naomi, thank you so much, and congratulations again.
Thank you very much. Cheers.